This is Reah, and this is Just the Who of Us, where we talk about a range of topics including life events, current events, spirituality, entertainment, family relationships, as well as answering listener questions and
A
more.
lot of people don't know that, like, don't realize that the reason why Jesus came is to experience life, to know why we kept failing, like, basically.
Yeah. So naturally, when I think about that, I also kind of relate it back to parenting because, but the difference is that God didn't physically go through being a child all the way to being an adult to have the outside factors that we do.
Right.
Um, but,
He,
kind
he
of
didn't have the
again,
susceptibility of the flesh.
right. And maybe that's why he was like, what the hell are y'all doing? Why are
hmm
y'all why are y'all acting crazy? Um,
I mean, the thing about it is when Jesus was on the cross, or no, was about to be on the cross, 12 legions of angels were ready at his call, being like, come, and they would destroy the whole planet.
hmm
Like they were ready, but Jesus was like, no, like
yeah,
I know what I must do. Like, I mean,
right.
and so that's just like, and that's very powerful because the thing about it is when he was on a cross and he was like, God, oh God, why have you forsaken me? That was the moment when he had the weight of the whole existence of sin on him, and sin separates us from God. So he was fully no God in that moment. He was 100%, 200%, I guess if you say 100% God, 100% human. In that
Mhm.
moment, I feel like he was 200% human. He was questioning his home father in that moment. He didn't question him up until then.
Yeah,
But in that moment, he was like, "Oh God, why have you forsaken me?"
yeah,
Because because that was a separation from his own father in that moment. He was fully
right.
separated because he was taking the weight of the sins. And
Mhm.
that's like how in Genesis when he was like he created heavens and the earth and he didn't say it was good.
Right,
When he
right.
separated heaven and earth. That's what I'm gonna say. When he separated heaven and earth, he did not say it was good
Yeah.
because it wasn't. That's not. And I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly when he says and he created humans. I don't think he said it was good either. I don't remember. But I thought I read when I read it,
And
I was like, I mean,
and it was that moment that he knew he
he
fucked
fucked
up.
up. Yes! Yes! And no, it was the creation of Adam is when he knew he fucked up. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. You could have just created a world full of lesbians and it would have been
I
perfectly fine.
thank you.
I mean, I don't know how we would have procreated, but like he could have worked that out.
But there is a life where there is life, there is a way. Or when there's a
There's a will, there's a way.
no, I thought no, I'm quoting from Jurassic Park. Life finds a way is what I'm thinking of. Life
Oh,
finds a
Noah and I just watched all the Jurassic Park movies not too long ago.
Mhm.
Speaking of,
Life finds a way. And see, that's what I have so many thoughts about men in my head. And oh my gosh, oh my God, why? Why? Just why? The only man I would trust being alone with is Jesus.
yeah,
Like, I mean, it is insane to me. Even like, why is it men focus on being submissive? The submissive part of the Bible, right? But they don't talk about the one when if you look upon women with lustful eyes, you gouge out your eyes. Can you just do that one, please? Just do
that
that.
it's we could. This is going to be a 6 hour long conversation because there's
Because
so
the
so
thing
many
about
things to say.
because the thing about it is what I don't understand is how like like they were like saying that like like women shouldn't leave their husbands or whatever whatever, but it says in the Bible that if he is not a man of God and you're not turned I don't remember the verses. like by like memory. I don't remember them by memory, but like I know that there's places where it talks about that if he is not a man of God, then you can leave him. Like if he is not fruitful in some way.
Somebody needs to tell my cousin about that verse because, bitch, get
Well, I mean,
him
the
the
thing
fuck out of there.
I think it also says that you can like basically all the Christians that says, "Oh, if you don't believe, then you shouldn't date that person or marry that person." Well, it says that you can actually
Yeah.
turn them into a Christian, bring them to the Word of God. If you do not, then you can leave. Like I'm not quoting it in that way because I don't remember the exact way, but I remember doing research on this. I did studies on this. You know what I mean? And so that's what I can remember. I don't remember much about that specific thing, but I have done the history, like done the research about men in the biblical sense. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
none of them are like the Christian men today or men in this world today. I can promise you that.
There is,
Let me rephrase that. There is a very few men that could possibly fit in that.
yeah, there's one, and not to say that this person is perfect, because they're not. If my husband is listening to this, you already know who I'm about to say. And it's not my husband because my husband is not a Christian. I'm not a
Mhm.
Christian either. So I couldn't say the same thing about myself about a Christian woman. But there is one man in particular I know out of all the men that I know that I can really say, you know what, that is a thorough Christian man.
Mhm.
No, he's not perfect, but
Mhm.
that's a solid Christian man. That
Mhm.
is an actual solid Christian man. And he is a relative of mine. So, you know,
See, I would like to meet him and challenge that and see if he really is because
absolutely love him. He, I think that he could have a conversation to where you don't agree on the same things, but he could explain without getting angry, without getting whatever defensive and whatever why he feels the way that he does and why he lives the way that he
see,
does.
now that's the most important part. Can
Yeah.
you have a conversation about things that we disagree on without turning into hate or spew of hateful like words or
Yes.
or
Yeah.
wrong feelings? Because the only thing that I get in those type of conversations, I get passionate, but I don't get hateful. I don't get disrespectful. I don't do any of that shit. I just listen and take in that information and
Mhm.
hope to learn from it too. Because I love to learn. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
to, and I will also get passionate about my side, but I will not raise my voice. I will not do anything. I will not interrupt. I will not. I mean, I think I don't. Okay, I do interrupt, but not necessarily just in that instance. I interrupt all the time because it's like I get a thought in my head and I'm like,
We
I
have
want to say
ADHD.
it or
We
I'm
have
gonna forget it.
impulsivity.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not being disrespectful. If I don't say it, I'm gonna forget, and I am sorry.
Yeah.
Like, but like, I think it's so important to have those conversations without spewing judgment. America has legit washed out my country, at least and countries around it, in my opinion, because I tried to see if Georgians, the country of Georgia, let me specify, near the Black Sea, borders of Black Sea, yes, it exists. Anywho, I'm just messing. Um, just a little geography lesson there. Anywho, America has washed it out because I tried to look up to see if Georgians have ever owned slaves because I was curious of my ancestry. And I
Mhm.
was curious because I like to make the joke that my hands are clean from that. You know what I mean? Because I don't think any of my ancestors ever owned slaves. And I could be completely wrong. I'm going by the information that I have, like the lack of information that I have when
Yeah.
searching for it. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They could have, and I would love to be educated about it if they did, because I want to be accurate. But every time I have searched it up, it was always the state of Georgia, state of Georgia, state of Georgia, state of Georgia, state of
Hmm.
Georgia, state of Georgia, state of Georgia. Every source, it would start off saying country of, and it would go into the state of Georgia.
Do you use anything outside of Google?
I
Try
tried.
other, I was gonna say, try other search engines.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. I mean, I know I tried Yahoo for whatever reason, but that was the same.
Yeah.
That was the same.
We think about searching, we literally say, I'm gonna Google blah blah blah. But
Right.
there are other, I actually use other things outside of Google. I actually don't think I have Google on my devices because I use other web
Well, you
browsers.
send me a list of other browsers that I could try.
Okay.
That just shows you, like I'm just saying, the most prominent used search engine could not even find. Like I feel like that's some part of America. Like I like to make the joke that America itself, not people within America, but America itself is very narcissistic.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
very like me, 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 me. Because if you compare how old my country of Georgia is to the state of Georgia is only seconds old to my country.
Yes.
Seconds.
It's a common thing with our country in particular. For one, we really like to think that everything is just United States based. Like all information about the world
Mhm.
does not just pertain to the
America.
country of America. And so it's a thing that I see a lot. And I think it even goes back into religion.
Mhm.
Christianity is not an American religion, first of
Exactly.
all.
Mhm.
And so, um, but
And
in my,
Jesus is not as white as an American.
he was not, he wouldn't have looked like me. So it's, you know, we went through this kind of wave some years ago where people were like, oh, hey, this is what Jesus, this is what Jesus would actually look like.
I am so
That's
sorry
that's
for
his
what
ghetto
you
cousin.
just said. I
Sorry.
am so sorry, Jesus. You just ignore her.
That's his ghetto cousin. My bad. Um,
Oh, that's the
that
white version of him.
there you go. There you go. That's the American Jesus. But what we went through this wave of people had this like aha moment of like, oh, you mean Jesus that's hanging in my grandma's den isn't accurate? Like isn't physically yeah. And
Exactly. Like
and
honestly, I believe that Jesus would be my skin color or darker.
darker for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's a common issue is that people study or people practice this religion and they don't actually study it. You don't
Mhm.
actually. My husband was the first person I heard really point out and dive into it. Like, well, first of all, where he was geographically at in the position of the sun and blah blah blah, like he wouldn't have been white. It would have been
Right.
hot as hell there all the time. It would have been dry. It would have been this.
And he would have had sunburn
Then
every 2 seconds.
he wouldn't have been a light bright. Like he wouldn't, and he wouldn't have had this fine Caucasian hair. Well, fine white people hair. He wouldn't have had this,
He had
like
to have like a dark olive skin or like see there's one thing I will say. I don't think Jesus was black. Like I don't think it matters, but I also
Mhm.
don't think he was black either. He was Middle Eastern. That's what he was.
Right,
Like
right,
that's what I wholeheartedly believe. So I don't think he was white. I don't think he was black. He was Middle Eastern. He was an olive dark skin.
yeah.
Like not olive. Is olive the right word?
No, olive would be like, isn't olive like white?
Well, there's black olives and white olives.
Okay, well he wouldn't have been green. We know that much.
How do we know? How do we know? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Jesus, are you green? Just let me know. But anywho,
But
like
even still, even with the
at
books,
the end of the day, honestly, I think there's a reason why they didn't tell us his race. I think there was a reason for it. Because it didn't matter. It does
right.
not
Well,
matter.
it wouldn't have mattered back then because first of all, people couldn't get on the internet and see people of other countries. People weren't flying other places. So the people that wrote these books wouldn't have known about other races because they
Mhm.
wouldn't have been in the vicinity of other races. It would have been
Right.
just what was there.
Exactly. Like, see, I honestly don't, I don't think race was mentioned once in the Bible, unless if I'm wrong. You've studied it.
No, I don't think so because like racism wouldn't have been a thing. There weren't races. You know what I'm saying? Like we think about things, we think about that, how things are now, right? We have access to other countries, to other places where people look, and even in the same place, people look differently. But that's because of
But
migration.
see, that's why I believe there was different races back then because I mean, if you think of David and Goliath, where was that located?
Mm.
And then there's the Middle Eastern area where Bethlehem and all that. And so different countries were involved in the Bible, different places. King David, we talk about
Well, when people did
Noah and the
travel, they just traveled. It just took a lot longer.
right. So that's what I'm saying because because there's also slavery in the Bible. And
Hmm.
I will almost
There
bet
was,
on that there was a more prominent group that they had for slavery than it was.
yes, but it wouldn't have been like how we think, like black and white.
Oh,
Because
so basically what you're saying is that it's not like there was actual pure hatred towards each other's races.
racism wouldn't have been a thing. Now, classism would have been a thing, but
So you don't
racism,
think any of them hated each other for their skin color? Because I would think there would be because people traveled so much back then. It just took a lot longer, but it still happened. Jesus traveled around.
I
Unless
don't think.
if I misunderstood, I believe that other races like intertwined. Like,
Be, this is just my opinion because it was so. When we typically think of the Bible, we probably imagine it as society today, right? And there's even like different depictions. You have different actors playing different characters of the Bible, and they're different races. But in actuality, it was so long ago. Countries weren't formed in a sense of how we know them today.
right.
People were traveling, but it was very unlikely that someone was going to like cross a sea or, you know what I mean? Like to get to a whole, I don't know how to explain it. Like
I think I understand what you're saying. I think maybe I
to
just
like
don't.
travel far enough to be around completely different people, if that makes sense. Because think about how big the world is.
Right.
So maybe traveling to close proximities, countries. But even then, there weren't countries like there are today. So,
But I
you
mean,
know
if
what I
you,
mean?
yeah, and I mean, I think I get confused is because then when the Noah and the Ark and the flood happened, then they had to create new races that have to have been created.
Well,
And
here's my thing. Here's my thing with a lot of things about the Bible, right? So,
I'm just saying, I know we're going into semantics at this
yeah,
point. I
yeah,
mean, we're going. See, this is one thing about the Bible is you really never want to get too deep in it. It's not because it's wrong or anything. It's just because it's something we can't grasp.
yeah,
I mean, it's just like how Adam and Eve, like how did a whole society form from two people without it creating deformities
right.
within the genes, you know what I mean? Because it was basically brothers and sisters had to fuck and like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's one thing that always fucked me up mentally when it came to Christianity is like Adam and Eve. So they fucked, that means their kids fucked. So therefore, like it just created a
Or the dads having sex with the kids and shit like that, or the mom.
exactly like,
Yeah,
and so it just didn't make sense. And that's why I also believe the earth was created with age, just like Adam and Eve were created with age.
yeah,
If
I,
God can create Adam and Eve with age, he can create the earth with age. And that's where I also think that's why the Big Bang Theory go coexist with the Bible because that could have been true. That could have been how God did it, you know, because earth was created with age. So, like, I don't. But yeah, that's where I kind of, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. And like
And
I said,
maybe it's just my ADHD brain too. Like I'm, but like if you think about it, when we think of biblical times, we don't think of how long ago that was and how different everything was.
right,
Even back to incest now,
yeah,
it's not necessary for one. We have
right,
too many fucking people, if you ask me. But
right,
for two, if you think about it it would make sense to me that incestuous situation makes sense to me at that time because that's all you have.
right.
Also, there wasn't a society to deem it inappropriate. It was purely for,
Gotcha. You're right.
it
You're
would have been
right.
purely for procreation.
I
And
didn't
so
even
then it
think
wouldn't
of it
be,
that way.
yeah.
That is beautiful. That is a great way to explain it. Like that
Thank
makes
you.
sense in my mind because like no one was telling them, hey, you can't fuck each other. Nobody was telling them, hey, you can't fuck your kid. I'm not saying they did, but no one's telling them
Right,
you can't fuck your kids. No one can say that they can't fuck each other. No one was telling them anything.
right.
God was, I guess, technically, don't eat that
But
apple
it,
with
yeah, but
kid.
it would have been necessary at
Right,
that time. Now, once
right,
you create a few generations, okay, y'all can now we got other people,
right.
but even so, but even then, how does it come out so far that now we're unrelated to people? If that's
Right.
the case, it started all, then we're all related in some distant way.
Right. I mean,
But
but that's when the mitochondrial Eve could come into play, though.
yeah,
If you do you know about her, mitochondrial
no,
Eve in
but it
Africa?
makes, I mean, what the way you say it makes sense.
Yeah, because there's this woman in Africa who's saying that we're basically all descendants in the sense of her, like with the
Hmm.
mitochondrial like mitochondrial makeup or something. I forgot. I did a whole research paper on it. I don't know much information about it anymore.
Hmm.
But I did a lot of research on it, and apparently, we had somewhat of the same mitochondrial makeup as she did. And we're
Yeah,
all descendants of far, 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 far descendants
yeah,
from her to an extent.
yeah.
And so that kind of reminds me of that a little bit, I mean, and I think at the end of the day. That's one thing that I'll bring it up again when people are like, "Well, Christianity promotes slavery." No, it doesn't. It does not promote it. It's like
It
history
doesn't
book.
promote it. It just historically talks about it.
Exactly.
That's
And
what they were doing at the time.
at that time, it was considered a good thing. Whether we like it or not, at that time it was considered a good thing. It's not saying it's a good thing. At that time it was. That's what they can that came out wrong. At that time they considered that as good. You know what I mean? And then also it talks about how a person came and saved them. So maybe it's not all good. The Bible is not promoting it.
Right,
It's
right,
saying that, hey, this happened and here's a person that God sent to free them.
right. It's an interpretive story.
Exactly. So,
It's also, like I was saying earlier, like I think when we think about the Bible, like we know it was a long time ago, but we think about it in terms of today's society, and it wasn't today's society. Even going back to like geography.
mhm.
First of all, in my opinion, Christianity wouldn't have been the only
I mean,
religion on.
Hinduism existed before Judaism even existed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I also believe Buddhism is probably one of the second ones I believe, if I remember correctly,
It
but
is
that,
kind of early, but not the first one.
right. Um, so, I mean, it can also be taken back to how technically the cuss words we have today is not anything spewed back then. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? So when people are saying the Bible says don't use, when people use the Bible to say don't cuss, no, that is actually them using the Bible uh, for their own motive. Because
Yeah,
I think we had a conversation with someone about this before,
yeah,
where the Bible basically is just talking about. don't spew hate, don't spew whatever. If you're using those cuss words to spew hate, then yes, it's bad.
Yeah.
But if
Don't
cuss
slight
words,
others with your tongue. Yeah.
exactly. So, but if I say you look like a badass bitch, would you take that as a insult?
Well, I wouldn't because it's true. But no, I
Right,
wouldn't. No.
right.
But
I
there are people who are very religious who would say, "Oh, that's offensive to me because you said certain words."
Right. But at the end of the day, that would not be a sin of what I just did because my intentions were pure when I said it.
Right.
I wasn't spewing hate. I wasn't, how they took it is on them. Like how
I
they
can
took
also insult you without cursing. Is that better?
exactly.
Because I'm
Like I
not
could, right, exactly. Because like the thing about it is that's why I tried to explain before is
yeah.
if I called you a cow, would that hurt your feelings? Like I mean, like
Yes.
exactly.
Well,
So
not you because it wouldn't hurt my feelings. But no, I get what you're saying though.
but if someone called you a cow, how would you that would hurt, like because
Yeah.
they were calling you fat. Or they could
Yeah.
just use the word fat. They could just use
Right.
whatever. So why do you get to dictate what words count as bad? But that's where society gets into play. Because
100%.
society says that they're bad, doesn't mean they are bad. And that's one thing that I tried to use with the other guy that we were talking to was that yes, like I may not say words around certain people because of what society says, but that doesn't mean that I believe they're bad.
Yeah.
I, like you have to go, some things you just have to be respectful of society, whether you agree with it or not. But that's where also you could say that about slavery. Society thought slavery was great at some point, like
Right.
obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I'm not like that's the thing about it. It's just like things at the biblical time as some things should not be played into modern times because they weren't done in modern times.
Right. Right. I think the best way to interpret the Bible currently is not is not always specified word by word because things that existed then don't exist now and vice versa.
Exactly.
Now, if Jesus were to come back and write a second edition of the Bible himself, he would still have the same concepts.
Right.
But if he related to current times, it wouldn't be the same words because it
Right.
wouldn't be the same experiences.
Right. And that's the thing I don't think a lot of people are like really like thinking about is the fact that the Bible is still up to date. You know what I mean? The lessons within it are still up to date.
Conceptually. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But you can't hate a history book for telling you the history.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's fair.
Like I mean, that's just not like that's
If it's
just
accurate history.
right. I mean, I guess then at that point, what would you consider accurate history?
I mean, like history books, like accurate history that depicts the history of the world and not just the
But even
specific,
but
like
even
a what I'm trying with an agenda driven history because there are history books that were taken away because they weren't historically accurate and they didn't also give information about other parts of the world. It was just American history.
even history books are tinted in the way they're written.
Exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
like, there is one thing that Stanley once said, and I just love it, is whoever wins the battle is whoever writes the book and who wants it to win. Like if all these people are saying that Superman versus Batman, and I mean there was actually a movie about it, and who would win,
Mhm.
but whoever wins is whoever's gonna write the movie.
Yeah.
Like I mean, who's gonna win is whoever writes the comic book between these two heroes. Who is gonna win is up to the person who writes it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like you could do against Spider-Man against Superman. Like maybe we could consider that Superman's probably gonna win. But let's say that Spider-Man puts kryptonite in his webs, then he will most likely win.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's and so I honestly think history books are definitely a way to control. And I don't care how much freedom you think our country has, I think they control it to an extent.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, so yeah.
I don't know. Again, I don't know if you're old enough to know this, but when I was in high school, actually, it may have been like the end of high school or maybe right after, but there were like history books were like actually taken out of
Mm,
specific history books were actually removed because they were very biased and they didn't teach like
mm,
world history. They just taught American history. And so
right.
world history was introduced because, well, we need to know about everything and not just us.
Hmm. Also, America actually became a little bit less narcissistic.
Mm,
Uh,
they work on it from time to
did
time.
does does America need to go see the therapist?
Everywhere has its flaws, right? Like
Mhm.
there are places that I've actually researched and like, hey, husband, we might actually like it here better. But they either don't allow guns or their gun laws are very, very strict.
Mhm.
And we like being able to own guns and use them if we need to protect ourselves. So it's one of those things
Borrow
where
one
it's
of those
like,
guns.
huh?
Can I borrow one of those guns?
No,
Why?
absolutely not.
Why? Why?
Well, have you listened to yourself in previous podcast episodes?
No. What about me makes you think that I can't own a gun? No, I'm just kidding. What about it? What
Right,
about it?
right.
Yeah, I think I would just use it against myself, honestly.
Exactly. That's my point.
Oh, so you don't actually think I would be a danger to someone else? You think I'd be a danger to myself? Okay, that's actually very fair.
It is fair. You care about other people.
I just don't care about myself. Well, that's very fair. If I died in a ditch, I'd be happy.
Die in a dish. What?
If I died in a ditch, I'd be happy.
Oh, I was like, just like gonna sit on a plate in your sink and like croak out. I don't, what do you say?
What?
I
No,
don't know.
I'm gonna die eating you.
You can't say that here.
Just did, bitch. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? Huh? I'm sorry that I want a little dessert right now, and you look kind of yummy. So, see, there you go.
I'm trying
I
to
know.
keep them
I was about to say,
contained,
I was looking right there.
I'm trying to keep them contained, but they have other plans. So
Well, boobs are very attracted to me. Boobs love me.
is that so? That's what it
Oh,
is.
definitely. You could be the straightest motherfucker in the world.
Tits are just like, hey,
Exactly.
we're so glad to
Exactly.
see you.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I can turn the straight tits gay.
I mean, my tits are already halfway there, so you know, they only need a little bit of help.
Ah, see, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I once you go me, you won't go back to D's.
Like D's or like D's.
D's. D's nuts. Ugh.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm talking to my son right now.
Why are you having these conversations with your son?
I mean, not to me, but like that the whole D's nuts thing is definitely something he.
Oh, okay. I was like, your son's flirting with you? What?
No, God, no. That's
I'm
not
so
not what I
confused.
meant here, buddy. It's not what I meant.
You should know me by now. My brain goes to the worst case scenario. Like,
I
what?
think you might have Tourette's.
Wait, what? How would I have Tourette's?
Only in your hand, though. Sometimes I think
If
if
you
you have comments, questions, maybe even that you want to ask pertaining to this topic or anything relative to this topic you want to talk about again later, you can comment below the video, or if you're listening, you can email me at reahdr@philology.net. And thank you for listening and watching, and make sure you subscribe so that I can bring you more stuff. Make sure you like the video, and see you next time.
have a good one.
Check us out on YouTube at Reah Higgs, ReahHagues. You can also keep up with us on Instagram at Just the Who Podcast.